Hey guys, it's ViLo Energy Healing. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a general reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for the month of December. Now, these messages may not resonate with every Pisces out there, so please just take what resonates with you and leave out the rest. Okay. Also, stay tuned for your bonus info that's going to be coming up later after this. All right, Pisces, let's see what we got going on for you this month. You know, life doesn't feel so hectic anymore, okay? Things are finally starting to calm down for you after like all the nonstop emotional stress, okay? The quiet feels a little weird and uncomfortable, okay? But only because you lived in survival mode for so long that your nervous system got used to all the chaos, okay? It's almost like, you know, like when things aren't loud or falling apart, you don't trust it, okay? When nothing's wrong, your brain still looks for problems. Okay? This is all new for you. You're still learning how to relax, right? The people around you, they feel more solid. Certain relationships aren't draining you the way they used to. And it just, I don't know, overall feels like a calmer day to day. You know, stability doesn't mean boring. It means that you can breathe again. Now, you've been focused on, like getting your life back on track, okay? Whether that's mentally, emotionally, and financially. Okay, you didn't really talk about it. You just did the work. You stayed consistent even when things felt like they were just slowing down. Listen, most people didn't even notice, right? But now things are starting to move and everyone's going to see the results. This wasn't luck. You earned every bit of it. You put in the hours while everyone else took breaks or just gave up, right? You didn't wait for help. You handled it yourself. You kept pushing even when it felt pointless. You know, the changes that are happening now is the payoff that everyone wants, but no one wants to work for. You know, you're still working through like either a heartbreak, a betrayal, or just something painful that you haven't fully processed yet. Okay, some days you're good. Okay, and other times it still bothers you, and that's normal. Okay, you've been pushing it down and just trying to be tough, but you can't move on if you don't deal with it. You know, holding it in isn't helping. All you're doing is just holding on to the hurt. Okay? You're not weak or broken for feeling this way. You just have to stop rushing it off and just start dealing with it. You know, you walked away from something that was stressing you out, okay, and just draining the life out of you. You know, since you did that, everything feels different. Okay? It's like the second you stopped begging for things to get better, you started feeling lighter. Okay, that decision not only changed your energy, it changed everything. Okay, you stopped wasting your time on people and situations that just weren't working anymore. Right? You didn't quit or lose anyone by walking away. You saved yourself. You know, you started standing up for yourself, and yeah, it made some people uncomfortable, but that wasn't your problem anymore. Okay, you stopped letting people push you around and you just started calling the shots. Okay, you weren't second guessing your decisions. You were trusting yourself. Okay, that change made people treat you totally different. Okay, they see you as someone who doesn't take shit from anyone and nobody messes with anymore. You know, right now you're starting to see like how far you've actually come. Okay, you're realizing that you don't need to be exhausted all the time just to prove that you're actually getting somewhere. You know, you're working on you without explaining it to anyone. You've been keeping a lot more to yourself lately. Okay, whether you've been ghosting or just pulling back from people, it's honestly been the best thing for you because now you can finally focus on you. You know, being alone is how you're getting your head clear and figuring out what you want next. You know, it feels like things are going to slow down for a bit, okay? But it's only temporary. You might not have, you know, much motivation or drive, but that's okay, right? Don't stress it. Nothing is wrong. This isn't you falling behind. It's your body forcing you to rest because you've been running on E for too long without even realizing it. You know, think of it as a reset, okay? Not a setback. Once you give yourself that break, your energy and drive come back stronger and clearer than before. Okay, and you'll know exactly which direction to go in. You know, you're realizing that you don't need to react like right away to every little thing that bothers you. Okay, you're thinking before you respond instead of snapping back. You're choosing not to get pulled into unnecessary drama or feed into situations that don't even deserve your attention. You're starting to see that staying calm is a decision you make, okay? That's not something that gets handed to you. Listen, you're not arguing or going back and forth anymore, trying to prove a point. You're just not entertaining the drama like you used to, period. Okay, so when something feels off, you just remove yourself. Okay, you'll let people show you how they really are, okay? And then you leave it alone. You know, someone around you is like bothered by like the distance between you, okay? They're noticing that you're not as available to them as you used to be, and they're taking it personal, all right? They're annoyed because you don't respond the way you used to, okay? Your reactions used to make them feel, I don't know, important and just kind of keep things going. Okay, now they feel you pulling back and they don't like or understand it, right? You're quiet. That bothers them. What they don't get is that you needed space. Okay, this wasn't about punishing anyone. Okay, it was about doing what you needed to do for yourself, because honestly, staying close to them only made you exhausted. You didn't change. All right. You just stopped tolerating the drama. And you know what? If they really miss you, then they should have treated you better and respected your boundaries when they had access to you. You know, you're scared that what you're building won't last, but only because before things always just fell apart. Okay, that fear comes from past experiences, not from what you're doing now. Okay, this time it's not the same. You're not repeating, like the same old patterns. You're more disciplined and more focused. You're not cutting corners or just winging it anymore. You've been consistently working for this day by day, not, when it's convenient. Okay, that's the difference. You end the year in a much better place than where you started. Okay, you feel stronger, more grounded, and that you felt in a long time. Okay, that constant stress dies down and things finally feel calm and more stable. You're surrounded by better energy and better people. You're going into the new year feeling confident and knowing exactly where you stand, right? You're done over-explaining yourself. You're done apologizing for doing what's best for you, right? You're not chasing anything or anyone anymore, right? You finally put yourself first, and that decision changes everything moving forward. All right, guys. Hey, Pisces, it's ViLo Energy Healing. Welcome back to part 2 of your reading. This is going to be your bonus info for the month of December. All right, so let's start off with some timing windows. Now, as always, I'm going to start from the beginning of the month and work my way towards the end of the month. So we have here December 3rd to the 9th, okay? This is when you finally see progress with something that you've been consistent about, okay? Whether it's work, healing, or even personal growth, okay? It's a small but powerful confirmation that you're on the right track. Now, December 12th to the 18th, okay, this is when emotions run high, when someone tries to reconnect or stir things up, right? You'll know instantly if it's genuine or just guilt driven, okay? Just trust your gut. Now, December 21st to the 31st, okay? This is when calm confidence takes over, okay? You walk into the new year knowing that you've outgrown the BS and you deserve the peace that's coming in. All right. Let me just see here. Zodiac signs, that showed up in your reading. Okay. This could be someone you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be. Guys, don't get too fixated on the signs. You could be dealing with any sign. Let's see here. We have Leo, Aries, Virgo, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Cancer. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to just jump into some symbols that you might be seeing but possibly ignoring. Let's see here. Let's start off with some angel numbers. What do we got? Okay. So I'm picking up 333. Okay. That just means that you're being guided on whatever you're focusing on. Also picking up 717, okay, that talks about major emotional breakthroughs, all right? You're not repeating the same old patterns. Also picking up on 828, okay, that talks about financial or relationship stability with building fast. All right, some of you are having dreams of water or boats, Okay, that's just emotional healing in motion, all right? You're releasing old pain. Also picking up like a sudden breeze or a temperature change indoors. Okay, that's about emotional energy clearing after you've released it. Now, some of you are like waking up earlier than usual. Okay, that's about alignment, all right? You're just getting prepped for what's, for what your next chapter is. All right, let me just see here. Some initials, that I'm picking up. Okay, this could be your name, their name, first name, last name. Place it how you see fit. Let's see here. We have A. We have B. C. D. E. H. J. K. L. And R. All right. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. If you're enjoying the bonus info, you want me to continue this way, just hit the like button or leave me a quick comment to let me know. All right, thanks for watching, and until next time, sending you love and light.